that now. Sorry, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, things are going up. We need to do
Yep.
that. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, we will have the ceremonial swearing in of our new trustee, Trustee Carol McGlynn.
Good evening, Superintendent and fellow trustees. Carol McGlynn, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of member of the Board of Education
of member of the Board of Education
of the Kalamazoo Public Schools, of the Kalamazoo Public Schools, County of Kalamazoo, Michigan, according to the best of my ability.
Of the Kalamazoo Public Schools, County of Kalamazoo, Michigan, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. At this time, I need a motion to accept the agenda.
I move to accept the agenda.
I have a motion from Trustee Shola Barber. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Hill. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, Secretary Hill, will you please take attendance?
All trustees are present, with the exception of Trustee Murphy, and Dr. Slade is also present.
Thank you. Ms. Coney,
Yes.
my favorite part of the meeting.
Yes.
It looks like we have some visitors.
We do have some students waiting to be recognized this evening. Our first group is from Prairie Ridge, and we have our principal, Mrs. Joletta Drake, and assistant principal, Mr. Charles Green here.
It's already on. Good evening, KPS board members, Dr. Slade, and guests. First up, we have First up, we have Annabelle Prang. Annabelle Prang is a second grader at Prairie Ridge. She is missing cheer practice tonight to be here this evening, so we will be her cheerleaders. Annabelle is a motivated learner, a role model, and a leader in her classroom. She has made tremendous growth in math, moving her to a well above grade level. She is taking the initiative to learn and is on the path to success. Hip, hip, hooray, Annabelle. Next, we have Imani Rowland. Imani is a first grader at Prairie Ridge. She has persevered through reading interventions since this fall. We are elated to tell you that Imani is now an independent, flexible, and strategic reader, putting what she has learned about reading into action. She has shown significant growth in all of her academic areas. Her confidence as a learner is evident more and more every day. Don't stop, Imani. We are proud of you. Next, we have Savion Anderson. Savion is a third grader at Prairie Ridge who began with us in 2021. At that time, we could not keep a book in his hands, and now we can't keep a book out of his hands. His confidence in reading has grown, and he is now reading to learn. In math, he has shown tremendous growth with his automaticity scores, which are now in the 89th percentile. Savion has overcome obstacles and is now motivated to succeed. You are headed in the right direction, Savion. The sky is the limit. Next, we have Bradley McDaniels. Bradley is a fifth grader at Prairie Ridge. He is always a positive role model for his peers. In math, his growth this year was in the 99th percentile, moving him into the on-grade level category. His scores in reading are also moving him in the right direction with his growth from fall to winter in the 75th percentile. In science, Bradley's growth was in the 88th percentile, moving him into the on-grade level category. The amount of growth Bradley is showing in reading, math, and science are indicative of the dedication he has for his education. We are proud of you, Bradley. All right.
Parents and friends, you're welcome to come up and take pictures as well.
Our second group of students this evening is from Hillside Middle School, and Principal Atiba McKissick will introduce us.
Green button, there we go. It said that in the instructions. Coach Shauna Charles and Coach Tajane Hawkins. We have got a story program, and I just thank you all for the work that you've done and within our community to make sure this program has flourished the way it has. This has been a very special year for us. Our girls consistently take first and second place in all of their meets. This year was a little different. They didn't take first and second place in one of their meets. But what was important is that they stuck together, and they persevered, and they held it together. And that's what makes me most proud of my girls. So I am going to announce my girls. These are our Hillside representatives for the Kalamazoo Central Middle School cheer team. First off, we have Miss Aaliyah Armstead, Miss Ashton Blackwell, Miss Jordan Brown, Miss Michaelyn Hubbard, Miss Adriana Ryan, and my seventh grader, Miss Bernaya Williams. And now we have Mr. Hughes, who will announce the Linden Grove participants.
Hello, Board and Dr. Slade and guests, parents. So I have the second half of the cheer team from Linden Grove. First up is Nicole Freeman, Simone McIntosh, Zamaya Horton, Nadia Stevenson, Zanaya Watkins, Nadia Martin, Janae Wilson, Imani Carter, and Honesty McKellar.
And if I may, we have 11 additional young ladies who are not able to make it tonight because they have a game in practice. So
That concludes this evening's recognitions.
Thank you. In regards to committee and school reports, we will have a updated committee meetings list. Nicole and I will work on that, and she will have an email going out to you. Secretary Hill, will you tell us about correspondence?
We received one correspondence through email, and that came from a student named, well, I don't think I'm allowed to say the name. That came from a student from Loynorks High School, and it was regarding the phone policy, and I replied to that email. Thank you.
Secretary Hill, will you look also in your spam folder? I'm finding a lot of messages in my spam folder from students. So, yep, just look in your spam
will
folder.
look there. I'm not sure why they would be directed there. If they came to the board, why would it go to my spam? But
I don't know, but I found two
you
messages.
found stuff, and
yes,
I will
ma'am.
look. Thank you, President Harrison.
Next is the consent calendar item. This is an implied motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser, will you please tell us about purchase recommendations 2024-28 and 2024-29, please?
Yes, thank you, President Harrison. First, we have request number 2024-28 for $255,158.77. This is to purchase district-wide custodial equipment, and this is funded out of ESSER 3. Next, we have purchase recommendation request 2024-29 in the amount of $4,804,235. And this is to provide architectural and engineering professional services for the 2022 bond projects. And this will be funded from the 2022 bond. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Trustee Schiller-Barber.
This isn't a question, but this is a thank you. This is about 2024-29, $4,804,235. If we didn't have that coming from bonds for these projects, and these projects that they're working on, and please, Ms. Kaiser, help me if I'm wrong, but those are things that will keep the schools safer, cleaner, in better condition. They are things that we would have to do normally to accommodate all those things I aforementioned. And so I'm heartfully thankful to the community and all those people who have supported our bonds. This money would come out of the general fund, which would come out of salaries as well as supplies for students and the like. So deeply, deeply grateful for the support for these bonds. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, at this time we will have reports and recommendation. Superintendent Slade.
Good evening, everyone. Although it's only February, now it's time to start thinking about some things that will impact everybody for next year. So during our superintendent report today, we're going to talk about school choice and some other things that will impact where students go to school next year. But I want to first start off by talking about we have a citywide road project that's going to start in a few weeks, and this will have an impact on our district transportation. So we just want parents to be aware of the fact that since we will have road work on these major streets in the city, we may have late buses to school every morning. And that will, it may not happen, but it might. So we just want everybody to be aware that as long as this road work is going on, our buses may be late. But of course, we all understand why we have to repair our roads, especially after the winter months. So that's something that has to happen. We just don't want anybody to be surprised if their buses are late. And we will communicate like we normally do when we have transportation issues. We'll also, again, have Ms. Saunders come up to talk about the school choice process. And again, this impacts where students attend school during the course. And this is for next school year. We just want everybody to be aware of the process.
Good evening. So schools of choice process, really schools of choice is formerly known as the letter of intent. We annually do this to allow our families, because we do have a school district where you can at times choose your elementary, middle, or high school given certain circumstances. We are providing this year a more streamlined process. So what we have done this year is change the name to Schools of Choice. Now, if you're a caregiver or guardian in Kalamazoo, you need to only request your school only if you're requesting a change. So if you are attending King Westwood as a second grader, we anticipate that you're staying with us for third grade, so there's no need to let us know you're going to be there for third grade. If your child is returning to the same school, then transitioning to their next middle or high school, no action is needed. If you request a change, and we have that open window too, you can also request that through our regular process. We are taking requests for choice until Friday, March 1st, which is next Friday. As we mentioned before, placement is not guaranteed. Families requesting any choice, you're going to be notified early April of your school assignment. If you have any children that are attending for the first time, this process is not for you, but you would need to enroll your child. So you're a first-time attender, we need to have all of your enrollment information so we can appropriately let you know what options are available. Any questions about that, you can go to your student's school or come to student services on the second floor. So the next is just a chart that really gives you just a real streamlined idea of when you have to make choice. Only a couple of options when you have to turn in a Schools of Choice form. Everything else, if you're a virtual student or a student at KILT, if you want to continue to stay there, we anticipate that you will. There's no action that's needed. We're already anticipating you for 24-25. Thank you.
And the reason we're presenting this now is because I know when I started over the summer, I've received at least 50 or 60 emails from parents related to this process. So we want to start talking about it early so there are no misunderstandings. And if you still have additional questions, you can always email Ms. Saunders. Her information is on our website, and her department will provide information if needed. One thing I am proud of, and I do appreciate the support of the board and all the staff members who planned this. Some of them are here today, Dr. Justice, Dr. Dyson, Miss Sheila Dorsey-Smith, Miss Saunders. We're starting our Saturday school program this Saturday, and Saturday school is something that we are putting in place to help students catch up who just need additional support in reading and math. So we do have our dates up here on the screen. I'm going to have Miss Dr. Dyson come up and just elaborate more. But again, we're really proud, and I want to thank all the teachers and principals and students who are giving up their Saturday morning just to get some much needed instruction. So again, thank you for everybody involved in this process.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Slade. Good evening, everyone. We're excited. This Saturday, February 24th, is our first Saturday school. Identified students in grades 3 through 5 from the schools Edison, Lincoln, Woodward, Northeastern, Spring Valley, and Washington were invited to participate. The dates, as stated, will be beginning this Saturday, February 24th, ending May 4th. The start time for students will be 9 to 12 noon. With dismissal beginning around 11:30, so students can get on home. We will have breakfast and lunch provided for students there. Thank you for those that have pre-registered that are part of this invitation group, as we've identified various needs, even down to dietary needs, so we can accommodate for our students. The location will be at Washington Writers Academy, 1919 Portage Street. There will not be transportation provided, and families have identified how their child will be coming, and so we thank them for that. We're excited about Saturday school. Also, in elementary and middle schools, our literacy nights are coming up. And this year, you'll notice that generally literacy night is in March, but it's at the very end of February this year. So February 28th at the elementary schools, various times, and that can be seen on the website as well for the literacy night times. And then middle school will be on February 29th. Please check with your schools for the times. Presence matters, and all the unique things just are outstanding. And then, lastly but not least, with elementary, kindergarten and PEEP orientation will be on March 6th. We traditionally have time in the morning, 9:30, to accommodate families that want the morning time. And then we also have 5:30 in the evening to also accommodate families with whatever their work schedule may be. We have 17 elementary schools, and so we welcome families to come to all of those sites, to any of those sites of their choice. The registration pre-enrollment will open up on March 1st, and you'll notice on this flyer there's a QR code at the very bottom where families can utilize that code. So it also says PEEPS. So our kinder, we have the orientation for them as well as our PEEPS students. Those are the pre-kindergarten students for the program. Those are those students turning 4 years old by December 1st of this year. We invite them. Any questions on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dyson. At this time, Ms. Kaiser will come up and present on the ESSER 3 budget for this school year.
Thank you, Dr. Slade. This is a budget update by spending category of the ESSER 3 funds. MDE requires that we periodically review the ESSER 3 budget plan. This budget is in line with the spending plan first presented in December 2021 and later updated in the 2023-24 preliminary budget book. This update includes adjustments for actual costs and changes in individual spending categories. The spending categories listed reflect those established by the federal government specifically for the ESSER funds, and this grant is for a 3-year period ending September 30th, 2024. Of the categories listed, some highlights include some new items. Under Category 1, that reflects activities authorized by the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and includes custodial equipment with a unit cost of greater than $5,000. So additional custodial equipment is also budgeted for in Category 13 as supplies for these items have a unit cost less than $5,000. The purchase recommendation that was approved earlier this evening reflects these items. Category 3, providing principals and school leaders with necessary resources. Some new items include the purchase of 400 teacher monitors as well as new literacy training manuals. On the next slide, of these categories, some highlights include Category 7, the summer learning and supplemental after-school programs. This includes a budget for some elementary summer school camp experiences. And Category 10, the implementing evidence-based activities, includes some new items for our libraries, such as a set of new state and country books for student research projects and books in other languages for our newcomer students. New classroom and teacher materials for literacy, social studies, and AP Spanish have been added, as well as additional supports for our ESL students. On this last slide, as you can see, Category 13, the other activities necessary to maintain operation and continuity of services, is the largest category. And this includes the transfer of teacher salary and benefits from the general fund to ESSER to offset one-time costs in the general fund that were included in the 2023-24 preliminary budget. These items included HVAC systems at Loy Norix and Kalamazoo Central, the replacement of buses, district-wide classroom furniture and signage, the replacement of drinking fountains, a one-time lump sum 1% bonus that was paid out earlier this year to staff, and upgrades at Chenery Auditorium. So we have been very fortunate to have this funding source over the past 3 years. As these funds don't expire until September 30th, 2024, every effort is being made to balance the remaining funds between this fiscal year and next fiscal year. We have been very intentional about budgeting primarily one-time items in the ESSER budget. However, for items that are not one-time, we are currently in the process of evaluating the items and determining if they will be continued either in the general fund budget, funded with other existing funding sources, such as at-risk or Title II, or with new funding sources, such as the new 23G Michigan Kids Back on Track grant, or discontinued. These conclusions will be included in our 2024 preliminary budget recommendation in June. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Before we move on with our meeting, I do just want to remind our community and everybody here that one of the things that I spend time doing during the week is meeting with students, parents, and community stakeholders. So I do just want to make sure that everybody does understand that if any parent or community member has an issue, as long as they follow the chain of command, meaning if it's a school issue, they go through the principal first. If they have a community issue, anything like that, I don't mind meeting with folks in person. Just email me directly, and I will normally meet with you within a week or two. So again, if anybody has any legitimate concerns, issues, especially ones related to the school district, we will continue to meet with parents or community members, stakeholders in person, as long as you follow the chain of command. And again, if you have a student in the district, the chain of command is going through the principal first, then the person who supervises that school, which is either Dr. Dyson or Mr. McCain, and then I will meet with you in every case after you do that. If you are a community member with a concern, I don't mind meeting in person. Again, just email me directly. So I just want to make sure that I'm constantly reminding folks that this is a district we will listen and hear your concerns. And you may not like our answer, but we will listen and hear you out. So thank you so much.
Thank you. At this time, we will have persons requesting to address the board. Daniel Barrett.
Good evening, everybody and members of the board. I'm Daniel Barrett. I'm with the St. Joseph's Catholic Church Parish and Knights of Columbus Council 1616. I'm here to represent us first of all, I kind of want to apologize how this was all handled. First of all, a little history on me and the council. My grandfather was a superintendent or principal at Burke Acres back in the 1930s. My mother taught school after she graduated from Michigan State University down at Woodward in the mid-50s. I was substitute taught here back in the late 1990s, 98, 99 for a couple of school years, and so I'm familiar with the system and very proud to be a citizen in the Kalamazoo public school system. I've also, our Knights of Columbus Council 1616 had a hall on Cedar Street. We were formed on March 1st, 1912, so we're currently about ready to have 112 years here in the community, and we've been very active here for those years. We do a lot of community service. We've donated a lot of money to a lot of causes, soldiers from World War I, World War II, Korea when they came home. So what I'm here tonight is, and I kind of apologize because this probably wasn't handled in the best situation, however, but we hold a Lenten fish fry down at St. Joe's Parish, and we applied for a liquor license to serve alcohol. There's beer and wine. This will be the 9th year that we've actually applied for the license. I've never run into a problem. And the Liquor Control Commission sent us back a letter realizing that I guess we're within 500 feet of the Edison school. Unfortunately, in the licensing, it doesn't say. It says where the event's being held is 500 feet from the school. Well, where the building is and the buildings are spatially, they are 500 feet apart. But if they go by property line, which isn't necessarily designated in their rules, we're actually neighbors. We've always, actually St. Joe's kids, when I went to school there, played on the Edison playground. I went to kindergarten at Edison, so I'm really familiar with the neighborhood. But, we're proud to be members, and it's not that serving beer and wine at these events is necessary, but we have done it. People come out of work. They want to come down to a fish fry. We try to keep the prices reasonable to get families and people down there to share fraternalism, talk to neighbors, come down with their friends, and meet new people. I really have no personal stake. I volunteer. I'm down there roughly about 8 to 12 hours a week for 6 weeks, and then another 8, 12 hours a week when they're done with. So I spend a lot of time with volunteering. My friend and fellow parishioner at St. Joe's Parish and Knights of Columbus member Dick Wheeler is also here. He grew up just blocks from St. Joe's Church and down on Mills and Vine Street area. So, and I grew up on Stockbridge for a number of years. So we're very familiar. We're trying to give back to the community, and we didn't realize this had to be done, and we kind of got blindsided because we should have had a lot more time to do this. So I'm just asking that the board possibly reconsider signing the application and Dr. Slade, in all due respect, I really apologize. I kind of got blindsided by this or whatever, but I would appreciate being able to get a meeting with you in the next couple of days and see if we can revisit this, because it's not like when the activities occur at St. Joe's, I got to be getting close to 3 minutes. You know, it's good for the community when these events are held in public places like this. The people are not lingering and hanging around. The events start at 4 o'clock. School's been dismissed. They're usually done by 8 o'clock. Okay. So they're not, these people are not hanging around in the parking lots and causing trouble. They're all leaving. They're basically adults, roughly all our age bracket. So I appreciate the board's time. Email. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Next is Magic D.
Good evening and happy Black Magnification Month. Days are winding down. Just want to say congratulations to all the young people that were acknowledged this evening, and congratulations, Trustee Miguel. Welcome back to the board. I just want to say also, just for transparency's sakes, it would be nice to have the packet. I guess I'm used to having the packet with the budget information in it, but that's just neither here nor there. But I just wanted to echo what was said just a moment ago about setting a tone and making sure that the students are setting the tone for the teachers in the classroom. I myself in the classroom, it's a lot of hard work for teachers being in the classrooms to set the right tone for learning and to continue to have those expectations for learning in the classroom when there's definitely a need for mental health support. There's definitely a need for social, emotional support, as well as that goes into the learning. Also, I just want to give a big shout out to Commissioner Hoffman and Commissioner Cooney for voting no on our ARPA funds being allocated to the Arcadia Festival site, and for everyone speaking up. A lot of the folks that are impacted by the houselessness are families that reside in KPS and those students that reside and that go to the school. So a lot of folks that want to say that education is not political, but it is, and everything is connected. So I want the board, even though you are represented as a unit, you all do things individually. You have your own hearts and minds, that you work collaboratively with urgency and think that people know that they are paying attention to your action. We're tired of hearing lip service. We hear what you are saying. We want to see what you're doing. I know it's a lot of hard work, but there's a lot of us that are willing to help you. A lot of the work that I've done in this community has led me into the classrooms. I know, and it's been confirmed, that I will not be on the other side of this podium, but that's okay, because that's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be right here. And I know that work is going to continue to take me to wherever I need to go. So I'm going to continue to come here every other week. So to speak my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Latrice Fullerton. Leatrice, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Dr. Slade. Thank you so much for taking the time or giving me the opportunity to speak. I am a Kalamazoo resident, parent of a couple kids, and currently surviving a 13-year-old middle schooler. So I decided to come here tonight because I've been having some concerns regarding racist and anti-Black comments that have been made to my son since he's been in middle school. This is his second year. He, as a result, decided to retaliate and make some comments, and he was suspended for a day. And during his time at home, sharing space with me, I required him to do some research into why the things that he said about his classmate were harmful. So my question was to the principal and now to you all about the plans for some sort of implementation of culturally competent and, most importantly, accurate information or curriculum for students to go through when they return back to school. Because if I have oppressive viewpoints and I rub them off on my children, giving them a day off is putting them back into the limelight or getting even more terms, more harmful ways. There are multiple, one of the beautiful parts about Kalamazoo is the diversity. But when we are oppressive and only see one way of being right, normal, and beautiful, then those things get very, very ugly when it comes down to our youth. And I always say every time I have the privilege of standing in front of you that the youth are the future, and we need to cultivate some strong, inclusive leaders. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Destiny Clark.
My name is Destiny. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I came out tonight to lift up the importance of investing dollars and resources into arts-based programming across the school district. I'm a former competitive cheerleader from Lloyd Norks and Maple Street, and I also play band at Maple Street and Linden Grove. And I couldn't help but notice that there's a difference between the resources and the time that's allocated amongst the different competitive sports and arts-based programs. Now that I'm out of high school and my brother is in middle school, he's in the orchestra, I can definitely notice that there's like a difference in between how the students are dressed. So I feel like if there was something like with the basketball team, not to call anybody out, but you know, they all have matching jumpsuits. There's funding for that. Now with the middle school students with the orchestra, I was in band and my brother's in orchestra. With us, they're kind of just like, oh, come black pants, red shirt. So that leaves room for anything. And what if my mom does not have the funds to provide me with black pants, red shirt? So I feel like there should be some type of, even if there's like a school shirt that they just rent out and bring right back right after the performance, I feel like that should be implemented because these children are performing, and I feel like that would make them be more confident in what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dick Wheeler.
Good evening. I'm following up here with Dan in regards to St. Joe's concern about not having the liquor license approved, and the school and the church. The school and the church have basically have been together since 1912. Both of them were established back in that time, and we've had many, many fundraisers that require liquor licenses, and we've never been turned down before. We don't understand why we're turned down this time. 26 years ago, the Liquor Commission changed the rules in 1998, stating that if a church or school objects, and the big word here is object. So in our viewpoint, it's either the superintendent's office or the board, individually or collectively, are now objecting to us getting a liquor license to have our events over there. And on the fish fries, for the last 40 years, we've always had a liquor license. So, and then it goes on to say here that if you're, you know, that the commission should hold a hearing. Well, if it's my question to you folks tonight, if we get this hearing and they don't agree with the position taken, are you folks going to agree to their position to have a liquor license across the street from you? Is there a response here or not? Or you don't respond?
It's our secretary will tell you the rules of.
It's 3 minutes of public comment for you to talk with us, and we don't respond now.
So we're asking to not have to get the state involved. It's a matter of you folks reconsidering your position here tonight, and with a new school board or new superintendent, people don't know the history that's taken place the last 40 years between Kalamazoo Public School System and St. Joe Catholic Church. That maybe some of that's in there, but the camaraderie here is one of very positive, and we would like to be able to move forward. This is part of our fundraising every year, and so without the entire package, which includes a liquor license, you're also hampering on our ability to raise funds and have people come in and participate with us. And we do an awful lot for Edison School and the neighborhood here. We have for years. We have individuals in our parish that volunteer with the kids in school. They purchase school supplies for the kids and do all this voluntarily. So the spirit here is that we should, in my words, kind of scratch each other's back and have some consideration for what we both bring to Kalamazoo. So thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. At this time, under other business, we have a election that needs to take place for MSAB Region 6 Board of Directors election. I need a motion for a candidate.
I move that we support Pamela Dickinson from Comstock Public Schools, Kalamazoo County, for the position of Region 6, for the position of being a Board of Director representing Region 6 on the MSAB Board.
I need a second.
A second.
I have a motion from Trustee Shola Barber, seconded by Trustee Johnson, that the Kalamazoo Public School Boards nominates Pamela Dixon to the MASB Board of Directors. This will be a roll call vote. Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Shola Barber.
Yes.
Trustee McGlynn.
Yes.
Trustee Hill.
Yes.
Trustee Jackson.
I abstain.
And I vote yes. So with that being said, Ms. Dickinson is our nominee for Region 6. At this time, we will have comments by trustees. Trustee McGlynn.
First, I just want to thank my husband for coming out tonight and doing the swearing in. And I also just wanted to say that I'm really excited to be here, looking forward to the work we have to do. And I want to always remember that what our work does is it helps the kids in the district. So if we can constantly look back and say, what are we doing to help our kids move forward? I think that's really important. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody on the board. Thank you.
Trustee Hill.
So it was a great week in sports. The only game I could make it to was the Loy-Norris Kalamazoo Central boys basketball game, which was a lot of fun. It was right before Valentine's Day when I was sitting on the KC side rooting them on. I could see across to the Loy-Norris side, and I swear the pep rally kids, they all had pink shirts on, and it was in the shape of a heart. None of my trustees believe that, but it's true. So there was a lot of spirit out there, and then we always switch sides, because we're nonpartisan, we're not partial. We switched sides at halftime. Also, I was happy to attend the Saturday wellness event, and that was down at the Radisson. It was very well attended. They had dance and yoga and meditation. It was for all the KPS employees. I did get to walk through the wellness fair. Actually, I was there for a League of Women Voter meeting, but I could see all the goings on, and then I could walk through the wellness fair at noon when I left, and it was a wonderful thing to do. And I want to give a shout out to K College and Western students because they do volunteer in our schools. I know they're at El Sol, Lincoln, and Woodward often, and I know that a couple of kids will go over and help out at the Oakland school, and I think they're at one of the middle schools too, but I've forgotten which one. So I just want to give a shout out to our community partners. And that's all. Thank you.
Trustee Jackson.
Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you once again to Dr. Slade. Certainly excited about the vision that's being implemented in our district with the Saturday school. I really have high hopes for this initiative to really impact our children in a very positive fashion. And so we're grateful for the families that are supported by signing the students up that can really benefit from these extra extended hours on the weekend to learn more. And also, I wanted to say I'm thankful for all of the quick implementations that happen to safeguard our students and family, specifically at Millwood Elementary School. After one of the crossing guards was hit several weeks ago, I was able to see a very obvious presence of safety things put in place as far as more signage and a crossing, obvious crossing path with pylons that are now permanently in the street, and also with the presence of public safety officers being present there as well, because it is just a very high traffic area right there. A lot is happening on that morning. Sometimes even when I'm commuting to Lloyd North's, Lover's Lane is just lined up with cars. And so we're grateful for those implementations. I do want us to also be mindful, though, that we are making the same observation at all of our elementary schools, especially MLK as well as Woodward School. MLK, because, of course, in the last couple of years, there's been an increase in the speed limit. And so that have sort of posed some challenges for our school in that area. So I hope that we are continuously mindful to look into those safeguards as well. And in the spirit of Black History Month, I just wanted to uplift that the Henrietta Lacks exhibit, for those that have not had the opportunity to see it, there will be a free exhibit opportunity at K College Arcus Justice Center starting this coming Monday. And there will be an open house Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. But the exhibit itself will be available during their regular hours for the next 3 weeks. And so they will have it in honor of the last week of Black History Month, as well as getting into National Women's Month in the month of March. So if you have an opportunity and have not seen it yet, feel free to stop by to check out the exhibit. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Shola Barber.
I just have a couple, several, I think. A shout out to Lori Norix for a beautiful presentation of Romeo and Juliet. Well done. Very impressive. I'm always just knocked out at the talent in our schools. Just an amazing production. I want to do a shout out to CIS. They're having a major 20-year celebration event this Saturday night at the Promise Building. I want to shout out to Out Front. 2 weeks ago, they had an amazing gala, and many of our students, parents, and people affiliated with KPS were there. It was a wonderful event. I want to welcome Trustee McGlynn to the board. And usually, I'm a big sports person, and I love the competitive cheer. And I just think sometimes it's very important to highlight some of our students who have done exceptionally well. So I've gathered a list from both high schools of some outstanding athletes. And having been a high school teacher for a bucket of years, I realize that many students come to school to bounce a ball or to swim or to cheer or to be in a play. And so I'm just going to throw a little sunshine their way. Loy Norix, they're outstanding sports thus far in the school year. We're not done. Second straight year of undefeated season for our boys bowling team. The MHSAA regional is this Thursday and Friday. Girls wrestling, junior Heaven Cole and freshman Jessica White are heading to the MHSAA state finals, March 1st and 2nd at Ford Field. Heaven is first as a freshman and was a runner-up as a sophomore. Boys basketball, senior Cedric Huntley is trying to reach 1,000 points as a varsity player tonight. He is at 987 so far. 70% of the winter athletes at Loy Norix have a 3-point or higher GPA. Let's go. Sophomore Sam Oberly has qualified for the MHSAA state level ski state finals for the second straight season. March Madness is in full swing. Boys basketball district at Portage Central, Lloyd Norris versus Portage Northern, Monday at 7. Girls basketball districts, March 4th, 6th, and 8th. That's for Lloyd Norris. And then for Kalamazoo Central, these are the things I've been able to garner. Talea Dillard, a senior, is 30 foot. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mispronounce it. Is 35 points away from her 1,000th point high school career in girls basketball. She has committed to playing at JVSU. Latavian Braxton, a senior, signed to play football at Michigan Tech next year. Rowan Marion will represent Kalamazoo Central at the state individual wrestling tournament next week at Ford Field. This is Rowan's 4th straight year qualifying for the state tournament. Zaylin Lindsay Allen Jr. will represent Kalamazoo Central at the girls' state individual wrestling tournament next week at Ford Field. This is her second year. In a row qualifying. Okay, let me get. I got to go to the next page. Just a minute. Okay, here we go. Casey's freshman boys basketball team has lost one game this season while leading winter sports teams in their total or their individual GPAs, averaging 3.23. And that's all I got. But I really have to say that sports are a huge part. And you could see women's wrestling, bowling, wrestling. This covers the spectrum of students' abilities. And so we have great athletes. Orchestras mentioned at the mic tonight. Band was mentioned at tonight. We saw competitive cheer. We are a multi-talented school. And I just want to shout out to those people who have practiced and those parents who came and those spectators who come. It is an amazing part of Kalamazoo Public Schools, and that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson.
I don't know how to follow up the sports report, but I am inviting everybody, to the community events that are happening and coming up. We do have a Black History Month event at KVCC that'll be happening on February 27th from 3 to 5 p.m. We also have a couple of other events that'll be occurring within the next couple of weeks. Please pay attention to the community service, community organizations that are supporting the young people and their families that attend KPS, because everybody needs to support each other. And as we continue to do so, we grow in concern for one another, and we grow together to be able to support one another. That's it.
Thank you. Now, we have had a common practice of not giving second bites, but Trustee Jackson, you can have a second bite.
Thank you. And I'm going to be brief. Just an oversight. I also wanted to say welcome to Trustee Carol McGlynn back to the school board. I know she was actually coming off when I was coming in, so it was about almost 6 years ago. So welcome back to the work.
And I won't take up too much time. I just have two things that I want to take mention on. I also share in the board's celebration and support of Saturday school. I understand the importance of finding innovative ways to make up the lack that our students experience. And I'm hoping that Saturday school will address not only the academic makeups that we need, but also the social makeups that we need. I also want to shout out, I attended with Superintendent Slade the State of Black Males, the survey result, the State of Black Males in Kalamazoo survey result. And it was a pretty powerful room of Black men. The thing that was the common thing, and the thing that I want to encourage the community, not in specific for Black males, but for all of the males that are in our district, there was a call by Superintendent Slade for people to serve as mentors to our young men. And so I'm going to challenge the community to give us more mentors than we know what to do with. I'm going to challenge people from every walk of life, every economic status, every person that has the ability to come in and to support the work that we're doing here. I'm going to challenge you to come in and support all of the males that we have access to in this district. And with that being said, we need a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion from, of course, Trustee Johnson that we adjourn, seconded by Secretary Hill. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, seeing none. Opposed? Seeing none, we will be back in this space on the 7th of March at 7 p.m. Thank you.